Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of this business. So it is an Amazon FBA business created in May of 2014 in the apparel and accessories and hobbies niches. The average monthly revenue for the business is $130,921 and makes an average of $22,472 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are an Amazon Seller Central account with, at the moment, there are 239 active and 35 pending active SKUs, 2 domains with all content and files, employee contacts and relationships, supplier contacts and relationships, 3 trademarks. There are 2 email lists, one which has over 20,000 and one which has over 2,500 subscribers, social media accounts and pages, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. There are 2 ManyChat SMS lists, a Shopify account, an Etsy account. And just as a disclaimer, inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to verified buyers. And another disclaimer, although possible, Etsy forbids account transfers as part of their terms of service, and as the buyer, you'd assume all responsibility for the account after the transfer process. But Etsy is a minimal part of the business. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 57187 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the seller with me today. So welcome to the show, Brad. How you doing?
Doing good, Nick. Glad to be here.
All right. I'm glad you're here as well. And I'm just looking forward to learning more about you and your business. So to start us off, can you just tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
I'll be honest with you. It started with this business. I came from the corporate arena, and that's really kind of how we kind of fell into it, really.
Nice. 100% success rate if you're going by building from scratch to an exit. So that's awesome. And what inspired you to, start specifically an Amazon FBA business? Or if you want, you can talk about the niche. If you want to avoid that, you can without going into the specifics.
We came up with the idea to start the business. It really just started as a side hustle, and it really just kind of blew up. I was still doing my corporate job, and we were just like, hey, this might be a nice little side hustle, bring in some extra income, and it blew up. And really, that's kind of how things went. As far as like the niche, you asked about the niche. We really kind of dabbled in a lot of different niches, just trying to find which category was most appropriate. And really, we were in a lot of different niches, but this is the category by far that blew up for us, that just took off. And so we just focused more of our energy and time and tried to ride that pony, so to speak, and to maximize on that niche.
Oh, nice. So that's cool to hear. So you started with a few and kind of through actually testing out the products, then you just kept the cream of the crop, just what was at the very top.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can imagine, obviously there's going to be some failure along the way. Some products didn't work out. And so if products didn't work, you look at the metrics, look at the numbers, and have to make a decision. And oftentimes we had to say, let's cut it, cut your losses and maximize on those that are gaining. So, yeah.
Very nice. Well, the numbers certainly do tell a very positive story right now. So that being the case, what's the reason or why are you deciding to sell the business now?
Great question. Really what it boils down to is my wife and I, we've been doing this for the last, since 2014. It's been our bread and butter. It's been doing everything for us. We're just ready to pivot. We're excited about doing some other business ventures. And anyways, we feel like it's time to move that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you've been in this game for quite some time. You're certainly one of the more experienced sellers. So what through your time have you learned from building this business that just seemed to work? We already talked about one being product selection and testing things out.
Product selection and being willing to test and not being afraid of failure, that definitely is a huge one. A few other things, I know, being that this is an Amazon FBA business, customer is king, just understanding and trying to cater to the customer, providing great images so that they can clearly see and understand and communicate what the product is, the expectations, how they may feel with the product. I mean, those are all very amazing takeaways that we've gained from the business. And also in regards to reviews. I mean, Amazon is big on reviews, but we're seeing in so many other business sectors, even in this new venture idea that we're dreaming of, I mean, reviews are king. I mean, it's critical to the business to have that in place.
Yep. Awesome. And I'm writing that down now. Customer is king. I like that. So it sounds like you've gone through a lot of testing. So naturally, some things were, at least product wise, didn't work. Was there anything that you tried with this business in general that didn't work?
You know, there's one thing I will say. Amazon is a great business model, but there are some platforms we just couldn't quite figure out. And one of those was a specific advertising platform on Amazon called DSP. We just couldn't crack the code. We couldn't figure it out. And so we abandoned it. We just couldn't keep doing it.
Got it. I think that's a specific form of advertising, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Got it. And that's why a lot of agencies exist now, because some of the ad platforms are definitely tough to crack, and you can feel like you're just kind of funneling money continuously into a dark pit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So at this stage, the business is pretty mature business. So can you describe the amount and the type of work you do on this business for maintenance?
That is a great question. So for myself, you know, the amount of time my work day, I come in the morning and I'm probably spending about 3 to 4 hours on the business. I mean, the kinds of things that I'm doing it's a lot of operational, you know, as far as looking at new product, looking at sourcing a new product, looking at logistics, looking at shipments, where things are at, looking at reorders, oftentimes just looking at some of our KPIs. And when I say KPIs, our key performance indicators, looking at some of those metrics on conversions and whatnot, how we're doing on that front. Just trying to determine today what lever can we pull to try to maximize the business a little bit further.
Yep. And it sounds like you're kind of leading into this, so I'll just let you elaborate. Let's talk about opportunities. If you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
You know, if we were to keep the business, some things that I would say we would definitely want to focus more attention on is in regards to omnichannel. And when I say omnichannel, I'm saying focusing more time and energy in regards to platforms like Shopify, Walmart, Etsy. To be candid, you know, we already talked about this. We've been doing the Amazon business since 2014, but when it's just my wife and I, that's what we know. And to branch and to understand and to do more on those other platforms, we just don't have that wheelhouse of knowledge today. And so that's one thing. Another thing is, and this is one thing that's been a constraint for us, is capital. I mean, to be able to branch out into other international markets, this is a one-trick pony, so to speak. It's in the U.S. market. That's where revenue is being generated. I have to add a caveat to that. We are using the Amazon NARF program. NARF is basically where they allow you to sell into Mexico and to Canada using your inventory here from the United States, from the FBA warehouse in the United States. But really, it doesn't amount a whole lot. I mean, customers in Mexico and Canada, they're paying a grundle more in shipping and customs and whatnot to get the products to them, versus if the products were actually there in Canada or there in Mexico. So those are definitely places that, you know, if we had the means, if we had the capital, if we had the bandwidth, you know, with the tools or the people in place that understood these other omni channels, man, there could be a lot of fun to be had.
Yep. Very nice. And you kind of alluded to this when talking about omni-channel. So let's talk about the risks. What do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
You know, I would say one of the risks you need to be aware of with this kind of a business is we are a product business. And so every product, in my opinion, has a life cycle. And so if you're hanging your hat on one particular product, your business is going to, at some point in time, kick the curb and end up dying. I mean, that's just historically product life cycle. That's what happens. And so it's definitely being on top of the product, enhancing the product, coming out with a new and improved version, or adding more products to your portfolio. That, in my opinion, is the biggest risk to the business, is just ensuring that you're continuing to grow the business. And in our case, it's been with products, weeding out those that are not performing and adding new ones to replace them.
Yep. And all of the main risk you just listed definitely sounds like a very clear opportunity for growth. So it's great to hear that there's a direct answer to that risk.
Sure.
All right. So some housekeeping questions as we wrap this up. How much support are you willing to offer buyers?
That can be negotiated. Typically, I've heard of a standard 30 days, in regards to email and Skype. But if there's something that's beyond that, that can be negotiated. We can discuss that. I don't want to leave the buyer high and dry.
Yeah, wonderful. And would you commit to a non-compete?
Yeah, we can definitely put a non-compete in place with parameters, so to speak.
Okay, sure. And yeah, more details can be discussed with any interested buyers on that. All right. And are you open to something like an earnout?
Yeah, we can definitely discuss an earnout. I mean, it would definitely have to be a win-win situation for both parties.
Okay. And last two questions. So putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Great question. A couple things. One, it's an established account. It's been on Amazon. We've been selling in this niche since 2014. The sales history shows it's strong. That's definitely one. It's a desirable niche. That's one thing that I really like about the business as well. Those are two components, in my opinion, that make this a very strong buy for any potential buyer.
Yep. An early, stronghold in a very competitive niche is something that you've put time into the business, and I can definitely see that. So yeah, I certainly could understand that. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add that you think I might have missed during the interview?
Nick, I think you covered it quite well. I mean, we've been very happy with the business since we've been operating it, and we're just hoping to find a great home for it.
Yes, definitely. Well, I think those were all great answers and a perfect place to wrap this up. So, Brad, thank you very much for sharing your story and joining us on today's episode. And yeah, I do hope your business is purchased in the near future and by that right buyer.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 57187. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.